It's a great day, as you can see, out on the water. Dean Del Mastro beside me, Del Mastro Recreation, and some hardware as well that you guys just got recently. Rookie of the Year, Bentley Pontoon, and the Gold Sales Award for top sales in Canada. So
right.
we'll talk about the business in a second, but let's talk about the awards and what that means to you, because that's pretty big honors.
Yeah, it's pretty uncommon, really. I was dwelling on this the other day. I mean, we've won 3 national sales awards in the last 12 months, all for very significant pontoon manufacturers, all at the same time, and all here in Peterborough. Um, I'm proud of our team. Very appreciative of our customers that have placed their trust in us, but ultimately, at the same time, um, I'm just incredibly proud. I can't remember any time that a business in Peterborough has received, um, you know, uh, 3 national awards in the same year from 3 different companies. All with competing product. I mean, I think it's very uncommon. I don't think there's any precedent for it. And, I'm just really proud of our team and all the work that we've done and kind of how we've grown the business over the last, I guess, 34 years.
The Rookie of the Year award. So that's a huge one to go along with top sales. You don't really see those two awards kind of combined together when you're just coming in. But how did you guys get into this in terms of the pontoon boats and the Bentleys? Because I mean, that's obviously taken off for you.
Yeah, it was candidly, it was a bit of a leap of faith that we took with Bentley. Um, we had already received the sales award with Avalon, who's a major pontoon manufacturer in their own right, and we've been with South Bay for a number of years. Got a long relationship with Forest River and Forest River Marine. So we took Bentley on mostly because we knew the sales rep that was coming in. And because I thought it was kind of fate, he was talking to me about Bentley, and of course, our bulldog. I'm just going to hold on to this because we've got a bit of a weight coming in here, such as filming on the water. But my bulldog, who was like the best dog we'll ever own, his name was Bentley, and when they came and said to me, we'd like to talk to you about taking on Bentley Pontoon, I went, hey, what name did you say? And they said Bentley, and I went, okay, I'll listen. And we had a look at the product, and more importantly, we had a conversation with the people involved. And I'm very much a relationship person. Have always been that way. I'll fight really hard for my friends, and I like to think they'll do the same. They'll do the same for us. And when I met everybody associated, the Marcotte family that owns Bentley Pontoon, and I had the opportunity to meet their staff and to talk to some of their employees, and attended their dealer meeting, I guess, just over a year ago, before we were actually signed on as a dealer. And I thought, this is a good company. I think we can make this work. And boy, did we ever.
Success right away, or did it take a while?
Yeah, I would say it was more or less right away. I mean, we had a great display at the Toronto Boat Show in January, and I guess that really kind of turbocharged things for us. We had a great response to the boats themselves, which is, ultimately, sales comes down to a number of things. It comes down to some combination of the people that you've got involved. The product that you're selling obviously is very important. And then the after sales service that people, if they're making a significant commitment, and, we're talking about boats that are, certainly, they're much more expensive than they used to be, right? We're talking, $50,000, and up, that kind of price range predominantly. People expect that, when they make that kind of a decision, that they're going to be able to count on the company that is, that's manufacturing the boat, and the place that ultimately is selling it to them, that if they have a problem, they can come back. And we've been fortunate that people place that trust in us. They place that trust in Bentley, and we'll continue to return that. I would say the same of Forest River Marine. I mean, I can't say enough good things about the transformation they've had in the last year and a half. I mean, I was candidly, not sure of the direction that they were taking for a while. Not sure of their commitment to marine, but I give a ton of credit to their executive and the direction they've taken over the last year and a half to really invigorate their brands, to invest into their brands. Um, Again, we went to their dealer meeting and just really came away from it thinking like this is a company on the upswing. And they've introduced some great new product, dockside pontoon, which is, you know, dollar for dollar. Um, it's a value that's really going to be hard to beat. And you combine that with, you know, they go all the way to the very top, the very nicest of boats on the market. And, you know, I just think, you know, again, it's great to be associated with a great company, one with, you know, that's well capitalized. You're not going to have to worry about, are they going to be there or not, right? Are they going to be able to maintain the warranty that, you know, that you're telling customers that a product has, uh, and to have great leadership, which they do, and so I think all of that has been quite rewarding.
Carrying reputable brands and having great products obviously is huge for the business, but
Yeah.
also the name associated. The Del Mastro name goes back, family business, and that brings a lot of customers in as well, knowing that it's a family you can trust. And the history of it, how far does that date back for you guys?
I guess it goes back to my father. My mother grew up in Douro. Now her name was Goudreau, Gaudreau, pretty French. And but she grew up in Douro. So my parents moved back here a couple of months. They were living in Toronto, and they moved back here a couple of months before I was born. So I was born in Peterborough, and so I guess it's been synonymous with, certainly with Peterborough for at least well, over 50 years. I won't tell you exactly how many, although you can look it up on Facebook. But yeah, no, we've been around a while, and we started the company just shortly after my dad died. It was kind of a legacy thing that we did at the time, because it was something he always wanted to do but never did, which was start his own company. And we started it with, you know, my mother, who I now refer to as the chairman. She's retired, but only, but she still has no qualms about giving me her opinion on things. So I refer to her as the chairman, and the chairman has her own boat. And the chairman has her own her own vehicle and her own RV here at the at Horseshoe Bay. So she stays pretty current with what's going on, but. We're just over 34 years, or I guess it'll be 34 years in business in December. Um, you know, we've branched out from what we started, but our customers have stuck with us. Um, and I mean, ultimately, yeah, I guess it doesn't hurt that you know, that we've got a lot of friends, a lot of people know us. I'm fortunate to have a lot of people that know me, and a lot of people that that I've built great relationships with through the years, and that always helps.
And what products did you guys start with when you were first off? And how much of everything did you have? Was it just sort of a very small thing? Or did you say, you know what, let's go all in. Let's get as much as we can here and see how it goes?
So we started the company pretty modestly. It was we were just basically a used vehicle lot operating from across the street of what was at the time the Trent Winds International Center, and I think there's a basically a cleaning service operating out of that building now, but that's where we started. And after about a year and a half operating, we just thought we'd try it and see how it worked out. And I think in our first year, we sold somewhere around 300 cars, which was way more than we expected. And the opportunity came up to buy what is our current location at 48 Lansdowne in early 1996, and it was a huge undertaking for us. It was you know, for us at the time, it was a lot of money, and we didn't have a lot of money, but we found a way to make it work. And you know, my mother at the time, and you know, my brothers and I, we all pledged. We all pledged what we had, right, to make it happen. We took a lot of risk on, and ultimately we just worked really hard to see it through. And you know, a lot of friends along the way, a lot of good relationships along the way that helped us build and grow. I went away for, you know, I left the company for a little over a decade, and phone never stops. I left the company for a little over a decade, and uh, got into some other things, as people well know, and came back during COVID and really invested into it myself. And over the last 4 years, we've basically quadrupled sales at the company. So, um, and you can't do that just through work and dedication. It takes a whole number of things to come together. It includes good staff. It includes having a good, solid foundation, which the company had. And it takes some good planning, some good marketing, and then everything else that goes into, as anybody that's in their own business knows, you can't be half in. You're either all in, or you won't make it.
You said the chairman, your mother, has stepped back, and it's you guys running things now. So who's
Yeah.
all involved family wise now on this side of things?
So my brother Doug, he was a big part of the company for certainly the first 30 plus years, and now he had a battle with cancer last year. So unfortunately, he's overcame that, but he's now retired. My brother Mike is basically retired to Apsley, so you can stop by his food truck, which is Mikey D's fired up food truck right on Highway 28 at Jenner Apsley. I
Nice.
encourage people to do that. So it's predominantly now my brother Jason and I. It's um, our wives. So Jason's wife Heidi, my wife Kelly. Kelly works at Cameron Cycle. She does all of the bookkeeping and all the controller functions at Cameron Cycle. Heidi does those things at the main store on Lansdowne Street. So there's a lot of family content. Even my daughter Charlotte will come in and work. She works at the car wash, makes probably below minimum wage rates, but we're trying to make sure that she understands that you have to work for things that you want in life. And Jason's daughters, Taylor and Regan, through the years have also contributed. So it's a real family business. I know there's many of them out there, but we're certainly one of those.
Does it make it harder with it being family, or is it easier because you know each other so well? So maybe the opinions are a little stronger when making decisions, perhaps?
Yeah. So sometimes the lines get blurred between between making a business decision and being brothers, I guess. Jason wouldn't know life without me being around. He's a year and a half younger than me. And when we were growing up, he was a lot smaller than me, so I always saw my role in life was to be his kind of protector. But that's a long time ago, and he doesn't need protecting anymore. And he's certainly I'm proud of the person he's become. And I think a lot of people that that deal with him, that that have interactions with him, whether that's at Cameron Cycle or whether that's with us at shows. Jason comes and works all the trade shows with us, so you'll see him at the boat show, you'll see him at the RV show, and he's there working in sales with the rest of us. But yeah, I'm really proud of the person that he's become, the leadership that he brings to our operation, the efforts he puts forth. And I think that our success is all dependent on everybody pulling their own weight, and in some cases some folks pulling more than their weight. And that's I think now, candidly, in business, there is no other way. I have people ask me all the time, like, how are you doing what you're doing? What's your secret to success? What's really working for you? And candidly, I don't think we're doing anything that anyone else isn't doing, other than we just, I've said to people, when I see storm clouds on the horizon or I hear bad news, I just look at it and go, well, it's not going to be me. I got too many people counting on me, right? I'll never let my daughter down or let my wife down, or the people that are counting on me, and whatever it takes, I'll put that effort forth. And I negotiate hard when we're buying things. I've always said, money's not made when you sell something, it's made when you buy something. And I think people that are coming in and getting price quotes from us are looking at it saying, and they say to us often, in fact, my one salesperson, Tristan, was telling me last week, he asked one of his customers why, you had other places you were looking at. Ultimately, what brought you to the decision to buy from us? And they said, well, candidly, it's not just that we liked you. You were thousands of dollars cheaper than anywhere else. And I'm proud of that. That's a testament to the fact that we're negotiating hard on the other side. We're getting our costs down. We run a tight ship, and that allows us to, frankly, compete with anyone.
Staying in Peterborough was obviously important and obviously worked out. So why was it important for you? Because there's bigger cities that you can go to, but there's just something about Peterborough. I know it's your home and everyone loves where they're born and raised and always has that soft spot for it. But in terms of keeping the business here and staying in this area, why was that important for you to succeed here?
Um, so I think you have to go back to some of the things I've been through in my life, and at least in part, I felt I've always fought for this town. When I was in politics, I fought really hard for this town, and got a lot of things done that I'm really proud of. And kind of the way that ended for me, kind of, not that I needed more encouragement in my life, but candidly, that was a burn in my saddle. And I looked at it and I thought, the people that have mischaracterized me, that have tried to take away from what I see as my accomplishments and my determination for the town, and to present me in a way that's not who I am. Uh, I was determined. You know what? The best way for me to show them is to succeed, and um, I just thought, let success be your revenge. So I've buckled down, worked really hard. My family's worked really hard, and I think that doing that in Peterborough is so much more meaningful to me, right? Because you're right, this is where I'm from. This is where I was born. It's where, my family and friends are. So it's always been important to me, right? We may well expand beyond Peterborough, uh, over the coming months and years. But this will always be our home. This will always be our home base. It's where we're going to project from. And I'm proud of that.
You've accomplished so much individually and as a business and a lot of success. And I know you just mentioned expansion, but aside from that, what do you do from here? Where do you go from here after all that success? How do you keep setting goals and knocking those goals down?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you'd have told me 10 years ago that, we'd have a power sports store, that we'd have a marina, that we'd be expanding sales at the rate we're expanding, I would have said, you must have me confused with someone else. But where we go from here, I think, the question is, can we translate that success into more growth? Can we continue to exceed kind of our goals? I have targets. Some folks might think they're unrealistic, but I've always kind of based um, my plan, my direction, if you will, on modeling. I think it's really important to find people out there that have been in the places that you're in, and that have found their way to success. And I've looked at some model stores in the United States that have grown to the point where, if they were in Ontario, they'd be 40% of Ontario's total boat sales, and they're doing it in a community that's basically the size of Peterborough, right? Uh, that's what's possible. I mean, often, we limit ourselves by believing what we think is possible, and not believing in what's actually, what you can actually achieve. And I've never been a person that places limits on kind of where we are or what we can do. Um, when I was in office, I certainly didn't place any limits on Peterborough. I looked at our history as a community and thought, this is who we are, right? It may not be who we are today, but frankly, if you look at our history, these are the things we've achieved, and they're significant, and we can do those things again. And as a business owner and somebody that's employing people here in the local community, and somebody that's that has built this foundation, I can tell you that I believe that that we can do things that no one else is doing. in the country, and we will, because I won't personally. I won't rest. I won't accept less than that. I I expect us to achieve significant things. I expect us to not be good at what we do, but to be great at what we do. And I'm if there's one thing that I've kind of as I've gotten older, I was never a good teacher. I have so much respect for teachers because I don't know if I've never had the patience or I haven't had that ability to kind of relate where other people may struggle or questions that they've got. I've always known kind of how I wanted to approach something myself, or I've always been able to find an answer myself. But teaching somebody else to get to that answer was never something that necessarily came naturally to me. And one of the things that I think I'm getting better at as I get older is sharing kind of what I know and how to and kind of how to be successful in what we're doing. Our business is really competitive, and there's a lot of really good competitors out there. There's a lot of good businesses out there, a lot of good families doing it, right? So how do you elevate, right? How do you find within that a niche whereby you can not only survive but excel? And that's something that I work consistently at, that I'm really doggedly determined at, and working with. I had and maybe this is because I spend too much time on social media, but I had kind of a dim view on some of our younger generations, right, that have came behind me and their commitment to work, and I'll tell you I kind of set that aside when I came back to the company, and we've hired a lot of young people and worked with them. And one of the things that I can assure you is that they're no different from my generation or the generations that came before me. They want to succeed. They want to contribute. They want to do well in life. And they're really just looking for a path, right? They're looking for somebody to say, here's how we're going to do it. And I found some great staff that are working really hard, that are, operating in a way that I want them to operate. I can't tell you how many sales training courses and so forth I've attended in my life, or seminars, or even political kind of uh, training sessions, right? And in all of it, I've walked out of it going, yeah, that's not me. I'm not doing any of that, right? Because I think in everything, it's not just in business. It's in relationships. It's in if for any municipal candidates that are looking to run out there, I'd give them the same advice. The most important thing you can do in this life is make friends, and if you make friends, you'll build trust, and if you build trust, you can get things done, and without those things, you'll get nothing done.
Well, look forward to seeing what you get done next. Thank you for taking the time with us. Congratulations on all the success, and
Thank you.
look forward to seeing you guys just continue to grow and to kill it here in the Peterborough area.
Yeah, we're going to do it. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Dean.
All right.
Appreciate it.